My parents had decided to move my brother's pregnant girlfriend into my house without asking me. When I refused and told them to leave, they ignored me, so I had them arrested for trespassing. I never thought I'd be writing this, but here I am at 2 a.m., still wired from adrenaline and disbelief at what my own family tried to pull today. I'm Michael, 29M, and what happened this afternoon has fundamentally changed how I view my father, Richard, 57M, and my younger brother, Jason, 22M. Let me give you some background first. I work in cybersecurity and bought my first house 2 years ago. A modest 3-bedroom place in a decent neighborhood about 40 minutes from where I grew up. It's nothing fancy, but it's mine. I worked my ass off for it, saved every penny, and I'm proud of what I've accomplished. The guest room has been a sanctuary for friends visiting from out of town, and occasionally my mother Barbara when she needs space for my father's increasing irrationality. Jason. My younger brother is what you generously call a free spirit. He dropped out of community college twice, can't hold a job for more than 3 months, and has been living in my parents' basement for the past 4 years. 6 months ago, he started dating Ashley, 20F, and 3 months ago she got pregnant. Since then, it's been nothing but drama. This morning started normally enough. I was working from home deep in a security audit for a client when I heard a commotion outside. I looked out my window to see my father's truck in my driveway, along with Jason's beat-up Honda. They were unloading boxes and suitcases. Ashley was there too, obviously pregnant, directing them on where to put things. I walked outside confused. "Dad, what's going on?" Richard barely looked at me. "We're moving Ashley, Indiana. She needs a stable environment for the baby." I stood there stunned, moving her in your guest room. "Jason will stay with us, but Ashley needs her own space. You have room." The audacity hit me like a physical blow. "You're joking, right? You can't just move someone into my house without asking." Jason finally spoke up, not meeting my eyes. "Come on, Michael. She's pregnant. Don't be a dick. Get off my property." "No." My voice was deadly calm. Richard turned red. "She's family. She's carrying your nephew. She's not family. She's not even Jason's wife. And even if she was, you don't get to make decisions about my property. You have 30 seconds to start loading that stuff back up or I'm calling the police." Ashley started crying. "Michael, please. Your parents said it would be okay. I have nowhere else to go. That's not my problem. And my parents don't own this house. I do." 20 seconds. Richard stepped toward me aggressively. "You wouldn't dare call the cops on your own family." I pulled out my phone and dialed 911. "I'd like to report a trespassing in progress. 3 individuals are attempting to move into my home without permission." The dispatcher took my information while my father's face went from red to purple. "You're actually doing this over a pregnant girl. I'm doing this because you're trying to steal my property rights. 10 seconds to start moving that stuff back." They didn't move. The police arrived 12 minutes later, 2 officers who looked somewhat confused by the situation until I explained that these people were literally trying to move someone into my house without my consent. Officer Patricia Johnson, who took the lead, was professionally neutral. "Sir, do these individuals have your permission to be on your property?" "No, they do not. I've asked them to leave multiple times." She turned to my father. "Sir, you need to remove yourselves and any belongings from this property immediately." Jason exploded. "This is insane. He's my brother. She's pregnant." Officer Johnson remained calm. "That doesn't give you the right to occupy someone else's property without permission. Please start loading your vehicles." As they reluctantly began moving boxes back, I made a decision. "Officer, I'd like to file a formal trespassing complaint. I want this documented." My father stopped mid-step. "You're filing charges against your own family. I'm protecting my property from people who clearly have no respect for boundaries or law." The next hour was surreal. The officers took statements, I filled out paperwork, and my family was formally trespassed from my property. Ashley sobbed the entire time while Jason called me every name in the book. Richard kept saying I'd regret this, that family was supposed to help family. "Family is supposed to respect each other," I replied. "Family doesn't ambush you and try to force responsibilities on you that aren't yours." After they left, I immediately drove to a security company. Within 3 hours, I had cameras installed covering every angle of my property. I also changed all my locks. Yes, my parents had a spare key for emergencies. I called a lawyer friend, Jennifer, who confirmed I was entirely within my rights and suggested I document everything. The text messages started within minutes of them leaving. My mother, Barbara, who hadn't even been there, called me heartless. My aunts, uncles, cousins, everyone had an opinion. The family group chat exploded with messages about how cruel I was being to a pregnant woman. I posted one response. Anyone who thinks they have a say in who lives in the house I paid for is welcome to offer their own homes. My property, my rules. This discussion is over. Then I muted everything. I'm not backing down. I worked too hard for what I have to let anyone family or not treat my home like communal property. Jason is 22 years old. If he's old enough to create a life, he's old enough to provide for it without stealing from his brother. And my father, he just learned that being the patriarch doesn't extend to properties he doesn't own. Tomorrow I'm installing a gate. Update 1. 2 days later. The last 48 hours have been absolutely insane. I thought I'd seen the worst of it, but my family has completely lost their minds. Yesterday morning I woke up to my doorbell camera alerting me to motion. It was 6 a.m. and my mother was standing at my door with grocery bags. I spoke through the intercom. "Mom, you're trespassed from this property. You need to leave." She started crying. "Michael, please, I just want to talk. I brought your favorite breakfast." "Mom, I love you, but you need to respect my boundaries. Please leave, or I'll have to call the police again." She stood there for 10 minutes crying and occasionally pressing the doorbell before finally leaving. An hour later, my phone rang from an unknown number. It was my uncle Christopher. "Michael, what the hell is wrong with you? Your brother made a mistake by throwing a pregnant woman on the street. I didn't throw anyone anywhere, Chris. I prevented them from illegally occupying my home. Where's your offer to house her? I live in a one-bedroom apartment, and if it's so cruel to not house her, surely you can make it work. Or are your boundaries more important than mine?" He hung up. The real drama came that afternoon. I was in a video meeting with a client when my security camera alerted me to multiple vehicles in front of my house. It was like a family intervention convoy. My father's truck, my Aunt Linda's SUV, and 2 other cars I recognized as belonging to various cousins. They weren't on my property. They'd clearly been warned about that, but they were standing on the public sidewalk with signs, actual signs. "Michael chooses property over family and heartless brother, and my personal favorite. What would Jesus do?" I took screenshots for documentation and continued my meeting. They stayed for 2 hours. Some neighbors came out to see what was happening, and I had to field several concerned texts asking if I was okay. That evening, Jennifer, my lawyer friend, called. "Michael, your father came to my office today. What he wanted to know if there was any legal way to force you to house Ashley. I'm not his lawyer, so I told him nothing beyond suggesting he consult his own attorney, but I wanted you to know he's escalating." I thanked her and immediately checked all my security footage. Sure enough, there he was at 2 p.m. entering her building, looking determined, and leaving looking defeated. But the crown jewel of this insanity came this morning. Jason posted on Facebook tagging me and making our private family business public. My brother at Michael would rather see his pregnant sister-in-law and unborn nephew homeless than share his empty guest room. I guess when you make good money, family stops mattering. Remember this when you need help one day, bro. The post got over 100 reactions before I saw it. Old high school acquaintances, distant relatives, even some of my coworkers were commenting. Most were supportive of Jason calling me selfish and cruel. I crafted my response carefully. Since Jason has decided to make this public, let me be clear. I was ambushed by family members who attempted to move someone into my home without my knowledge or consent. When I refused this illegal action, I was verbally abused and threatened. I have filed police reports and installed security cameras for my protection. Jason is 22 years old and capable of working. Ashley has parents and family of her own. There are numerous assistance programs for pregnant women. What there isn't is a law that says I must provide free housing to my brother's girlfriend because he refuses to get a job. I worked 60-hour weeks for 3 years to afford my home. I lived on ramen and drove a 15-year-old car to save for my down payment. Meanwhile, Jason has lived rent-free in our parents' basement, refusing multiple job offers because they were beneath him. If you feel so strongly about this, I encourage you to offer your own homes. Ashley needs a place to stay, and I'm sure she'd appreciate your charity. But virtue signaling on Facebook while offering nothing yourself makes you a hypocrite, not a hero. This is the last I'll speak on this matter publicly. The comment section exploded. Some people deleted their earlier comments. Others doubled down. A few coworkers actually reached out privately to say they supported me and would have done the same thing. Then came the text from Ashley. "Michael, I'm sorry. I didn't know they hadn't asked you. Richard told me you were excited to help. I'm staying with my sister Jennifer in Ohio now. I never wanted this drama. I felt bad for her, honestly. She's 20 years old, pregnant, and being used as a pawn by my family. I responded. Ashley, I appreciate you reaching out. This was never about you personally. I wish you the best with your pregnancy and hope Jason steps up as a father. She hearted the message but didn't respond further. Jason, of course, sent his own text an hour later. So you'll be nice to my girlfriend, but not to me. You're such a fake. I didn't respond. My mother tried calling 6 times today. Barbara left voicemails that progressed from pleading to angry to resigned. The last one was just her crying and saying she didn't know how our family got to this point. I know exactly how we got to this point. Years of enabling Jason, years of my father thinking his word is law, years of boundaries being treated as suggestions, but it ends with me. My home is my sanctuary, and I'll protect it from anyone who doesn't respect that, blood-related or not. The security company is coming back tomorrow to install additional cameras and motion sensor lights. I'm also having a consultation about that gate. It might seem like overkill, but I've learned my family doesn't understand subtle boundaries. They need brick walls. Jennifer suggested I might want to consider a restraining order if the harassment continues. I'm keeping that option in my back pocket, but I hope it doesn't come to that. Despite everything I do love my family, I just love my sanity and my home more. Update 2. 1 week later. I thought things would calm down after my Facebook post, but I underestimated my family's capacity for drama and my father's inability to accept being told no. 3 days ago at 3 a.m., my cameras detected motion in my backyard. I jolted awake to see a figure trying to jimmy my back door. My heart racing, I was about to call 911 when the figure turned toward the camera and I saw it was Jason. I called the police immediately and put them on speaker while I watched Jason on my camera feed. He was clearly drunk, stumbling and cursing at the door. "Sir, we have units en route. Do not confront the individual." I watched as Jason gave up on the door and stumbled to my shed. He tried to break that lock too, then apparently decided to relieve himself on my garden before sitting down on my patio furniture and pulling out his phone. The police arrived within minutes, lights flashing. I watched Jason jump up, try to run trip over my garden hose, and faceplant into my lawn. I would have laughed if I wasn't so angry. I met the officers at my front door. The same Officer Johnson from the first incident. "Mr. Thompson, I see your family is keeping us busy." I showed her the footage on my phone. "He's drunk and tried to break into both my house and my shed." Jason was handcuffed in the back of the patrol car, alternating between crying and screaming that I was ruining his life. Officer Johnson took my statement and asked if I wanted to press charges. Absolutely. Breaking and entering, attempted burglary, trespassing, and whatever else applies. Jason spent the night in jail. My father called me 15 times before 8 a.m. I finally answered. "Michael, you had your brother arrested? Your own brother?" "No, Dad." "Jason had himself arrested when he tried to break into my house drunk at 3 a.m. He was just trying to talk to you by breaking into my house at 3 a.m. drunk. Dad, stop enabling him. I'm coming over. You're trespassed from my property. Come here and you'll be arrested too." He hung up on me. But he didn't come over. Instead, he sent my mother's sister, Aunt Patricia, who apparently wasn't technically trespassed since she wasn't there during the original incident. She stood at my door for 20 minutes, knocking periodically and calling out that she just wanted to mediate. I called the police again. When they arrived, I had them formally trespass her as well and add her to the documentation. That afternoon, I got a call from a number I didn't recognize. It was Ashley's mother, Nancy, calling from Ohio. "Michael, this is Nancy, Ashley's mother. I wanted to apologize for my daughter's involvement in all this." I was surprised. "Mrs. Miller, you don't need to apologize. Ashley was manipulated by my father. Still, she should have known better. I wanted you to know that Ashley is safe here with us. We have a nice apartment with room for the baby. Jason hasn't called her once since she left. That hit me harder than I expected. He hasn't." "No." Ashley tried calling him, but he said he was too stressed with the legal troubles to deal with her drama. His word. I sighed. "I'm sorry, Mrs. Miller. Jason is Jason. Ashley is better off knowing now rather than later. I also wanted you to know that we support what you did. Nobody has the right to force their way into your home. Your father was wrong." I thanked her and wished her family well. At least Ashley had one stable family to rely on. Yesterday brought a new development. A process server showed up at my door with papers. My father was actually suing me for intentional infliction of emotional distress and breach of familial duty. I couldn't help but laugh. The process server looked confused. "Sorry," I said. "It's just breach of familial duty. Is that even a thing?" He shrugged. I just deliver them, man. I called Jennifer immediately. She laughed even harder than I did. Breach of familial duty. What lawyer would even file this, Thomas Garrett, according to the papers? Oh, him. He's an ambulance chaser who probably owes your dad a favor. This will get thrown out immediately, but you'll need to respond. I'll handle it pro bono. This is too entertaining to pass up. Last night, my mother finally broke ranks. She called from her sister Patricia's phone. Michael, honey, it's Mom. Please don't hang up. Mom, you're calling from Aunt Patricia's phone. I know. Your father doesn't know I'm calling. Michael, I'm sorry. This has all gotten so out of hand. Mom, no. Let me finish. Your father and I have been fighting nonstop. He's obsessed with winning against you. Jason is drinking heavily and talking about dropping out of his job training program. The whole family is divided. Your cousins are fighting with each other on Facebook. It's a disaster. And you were right. Richard had no right to try to move someone into your house. Jason needs to grow up and take responsibility. I've been enabling them both for too long. I felt a weight lift slightly. Thank you for saying that, Mom. I'm staying with Patricia for a while. Your father, he needs to figure some things out. And Michael, I'm proud of you for standing your ground. I didn't raise you to be a doormat. I love you, Mom. I love you too, sweetheart. Be safe. This morning, I woke up to an email from Jason. The subject line was, "You win. Michael, I hope you're happy. Ashley won't talk to me. Mom left Dad. Dad's going crazy. I'm probably going to jail. The family is destroyed. All because you couldn't share your precious house. You win. You get to keep your perfect life in your perfect house all by yourself forever. When you're old and alone, remember that you chose property over people. Remember that you had a chance to help family and chose to call the cops instead. I'm done trying with you. As far as I'm concerned, I don't have a brother anymore. Jason." I stared at that email for a long time. Part of me wanted to respond to explain again that this was about boundaries and respect, not property. But I knew it wouldn't matter. Jason only sees himself as the victim. I forwarded the email to Jennifer with a note. Please add this to the documentation. The irony isn't lost on me. Jason says I chose property over people, but he chose entitlement over accountability. My father chose control over respect. They made their choices long before I made mine. My house is quieter now. The cameras show only delivery drivers and neighbors walking dogs. My doorbell rings only for packages. It's peaceful, but it's also sad. This isn't how I wanted things to go. I wanted a family that respected boundaries. I wanted a brother who took responsibility. I wanted a father who saw me as an adult, not a resource to be commanded. Instead, I have a restraining order hearing next week and a family scattered to the winds. But I also have my home, my sanity, and my self-respect. And despite what Jason says, I'm not alone. I have friends who've reached out in support. I have coworkers who've shared similar stories. I have my mother who finally sees the truth. And I have the knowledge that I stood up for myself when it mattered most. Final update. 3 months later. I wasn't planning to update again, but so much has happened that I felt I needed to provide closure to this saga. Ashley gave birth to a healthy baby girl 2 months ago. She named her Emma. I found out through Facebook. Ashley's sister Jennifer tagged me in a post congratulating me on becoming an uncle. It was the first time anyone from either side had reached out in weeks. Jason wasn't at the birth. According to Nancy, who called me afterward, he claimed he couldn't afford the gas to drive to Ohio. The truth, she said, was that he was serving a 30-day jail sentence for the attempted break-in at my house. The judge hadn't been amused by his lack of remorse or his attempt to blame me for provoking him by not letting Ashley move in. I wanted you to know, Nancy said, that Ashley is doing well. She's enrolled in community college for the spring semester. My husband and I are helping with the baby while she's in class. She's determined to build a good life for Emma. I'm glad to hear that. Really, she wanted me to ask. Would you like to meet Emma? No pressure, but she is your niece. I thought about it for a long moment. Maybe someday when things are less complicated. Nancy understood. The lawsuit my father filed was dismissed with prejudice 6 weeks ago. The judge actually laughed when he read breach of familial duty and asked my father's lawyer if he was serious. Jennifer said it was the most entertaining hour she'd spent in court all year. My father didn't take the dismissal well. According to my mother, who's been staying with my grandmother and keeping me updated through carefully worded emails, he spent a week ranting about the corrupt legal system and how blood used to mean something in this country. Then, 2 weeks ago, everything changed. My grandmother, my father's mother, called me. Grandma Elizabeth is 91 years old, sharp as a tack, and takes no nonsense from anyone. Michael, dear, I've been watching the circus from afar and I'm disgusted. Grandma? I hush. I'm not calling to scold you, I'm calling to tell you that you did exactly right. Your grandfather would be proud. I felt tears prick my eyes. Grandpa had passed 5 years ago. Your father seems to have forgotten everything his father taught him about being a man. Real men don't steal from their children. Real men don't expect others to pay for their mistakes. And real men certainly don't sue their own sons for having boundaries. Thank you, Grandma. I'm not done. I've rewritten my will. The house that was going to your father now goes to you. The money I'd set aside for Jason's future is going into a trust for that baby, accessible only for her education and only after she turns 18. Your father and brother will get exactly what they've earned. Nothing. Grandma, you don't have to. I don't have to do anything at my age, dear, but I want to. Your father called me yesterday ranting about loyalty and family. I told him that family doesn't mean being a doormat. He hung up on me, his 91-year-old mother. Can you imagine? I couldn't help but smile. Now I want you to come for Sunday dinner next week. Just you. I'll make your favorite pot roast. That dinner was the best I'd had in months. Grandma and I talked for hours about Grandpa, about boundaries, about self-respect. She told me stories about my father as a young man, how he'd always been controlling but had gotten worse over the years. I blame myself partially, she admitted. I should have stood up to him more when he was younger, but I was from a different generation. We didn't talk about boundaries then. Last week, my mother filed for divorce. She called me from her lawyer's office. I wanted you to hear it from me first. I'm done, Michael. The way your father treated you, the way he's been treating me since I disagreed with him, I can't do it anymore. Mom, are you okay? I'm better than I've been in years. I'm staying with Grandma now, she insisted. We're actually having fun together. Can you believe it? I'm 60 years old and living with my mother-in-law, and it's the happiest I've been in a decade. I'm proud of you, Mom. I'm proud of you too. You showed me that it's never too late to stand up for yourself. Jason got out of jail last month. He showed up at my work, which was a mistake. We have security and they called me before letting him anywhere near the building. I met him in the lobby with 2 security guards present. He looked rough, thin, unshaven, wearing the same clothes I'd seen him in months ago. I'm not here to fight, he said immediately. I just wanted to see you. Why Ashley won't take my calls. Mom won't talk to me. Dad's gone off the deep end. Grandma wrote me out of the will. I have nobody. And whose fault is that? He stared at the floor. Mine. I know. I messed up everything. Jason, what do you want? I want my brother back. I looked at him for a long moment. The brother you wanted would have let you walk all over him. That brother doesn't exist anymore. I know. If you want a relationship with me, you need to get your life together. Get a job. Keep it. Get therapy. Stay sober. Take responsibility for your daughter. Pay child support. Be a father even if from a distance. That's a lot. That's the minimum. And Jason, if you ever show up at my home or my work again without an invitation, we're done forever. Understood. He nodded and left. That was 2 weeks ago. According to my mother, he's enrolled in a welding program and is attending AA meetings. It's a start. My father remains unrepentant. He's living alone in the family house, posting increasingly angry rants on Facebook about ungrateful children and the death of family values. Most of the extended family has unfriended or muted him. He drove by my house last week. My cameras caught him slowing down, staring, then driving away. He didn't stop or attempt to make contact, which is good because the restraining order is still active. As for me, I'm doing well. I've been promoted at work. Turns out standing up to your family translates well to standing up in the boardroom. I'm dating someone new, Sarah, who fully supports my boundaries and even helped me install a new security system upgrade. My house is still my sanctuary, but it's no longer a fortress. I have friends over for dinner. Sarah stays over on weekends. My mom and grandma are coming for Christmas. It's becoming a home, not just a house. Looking back, I sometimes wonder if I could have handled things differently. Maybe I could have been less harsh that first day. Maybe I could have given them a chance to apologize and leave peacefully. But then I remember the entitlement in my father's voice, the assumption that my property was his to distribute, the complete lack of respect for my autonomy. I did what I had to do. Jason sent me a picture yesterday. It was him at his welding program wearing safety gear and actually looking focused. The message just said, Day 12. Still here, I replied with a thumbs up emoji. It's not much, but it's a start. Ashley sent me a picture too through her mother. Baby Emma has Jason's eyes, but Ashley's smile. She's beautiful. Maybe one day when the dust has fully settled, I'll meet her, but not yet. My therapist, Yes, I started seeing one through all this, says I'm handling everything remarkably well. That setting boundaries with toxic family members is one of the hardest things anyone can do, and that I should be proud of myself. I am proud, but I'm also sad. I wish I had the family I deserved, not the one I got. But we don't get to choose our family. We only get to choose how we let them treat us. I chose self-respect. I chose boundaries. I chose to protect what I'd worked for. And despite everything, the lawsuits, the arrests, the family drama, the public humiliation attempts, I'd make the same choice again. My home is mine. My life is mine. And anyone who can't respect that has no place in either. That's the hill I was willing to die on. Turns out it was also the hill I needed to climb to see clearly. The family members who matter have rallied around me. The ones who don't have shown their true colors. And Jason, maybe he'll grow up. Maybe he won't. But that's his journey now, not mine. I'm done enabling. I'm done being the family resource. I'm done apologizing for having boundaries. I'm finally free. And it all started with one word. No. Sometimes that's the most powerful word you can say even to family, especially to family.